There's in community of property, there's out of community of property with accruals and without accruals.
This is not radio. Entrepreneurship.
Are you making money out of this? So they robbed you. Bags of money involves some.
Authentic Info Podcast.
Are you saying that there's no hell and there's no heaven?
You talk about your childhood.
Music, art, religious talks, all in one on Authentic Info Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Authentic Info Podcast. I am your host, Admire Sandile Chao. In our episode 8, if not 7, I hosted Mr. Austin Sherinda in his law firm speaking about their law firm, Austin Sherinda Attorneys, and what they do. So it was a very brief video. A lot of people asked that I must go back to them so that they can speak to different topics. And we also promised that we're going to tackle topic by topic so that clients can understand what they do and who they are. So as Mr. Sherinda said in that video that he doesn't go alone, he has a partner. So the partner is going to introduce herself. She's also a lawyer serving in the very same company. So welcome to Authentic Info Podcast. Can you please introduce yourself to our masses?
Thank you, Mr. Chauke, for having us. My name is Mixo Mathebula, and I am from Austin Sherinda Attorneys.
Okay, thank you. I will address you as
Miss
Mrs.
Mathebula.
You get- Mrs. Matebula or Mrs. Sherinda or Mrs. Matebula.
Whichever way.
Okay. Okay, thank you for coming to this platform. Now, there's a problem that affects, I believe, everyone. But I would like us to focus on black people in rural communities, especially who do not understand legal processes. So,
Okay.
there is marriage, and
Yes.
there is divorce, and there are different types of marriages. So, sometimes people, lawyers say sometimes people are married, but they don't know that they're married.
Exactly.
So I would like you to take us through the whole process. What is it that constitutes marriage? What are the different types of marriages that we have? And then what is it that leads to dissolution of marriage and things like that? What is it that regulates all these things?
Okay. A lot of people are in marriage. Actually, they are in community of property without actually knowing that they are married and they are in community of property. Name. First of all, in South Africa, we have two types of marriage, which is marriage in community of property and marriage out of community of property. Marriage out of, we'll first start with marriage out of community of property. It's divided into two categories, which is with accrual systems and without accrual systems. So when you want to get married out of community of property, first of all, you have to draft an antenuptial contract. That antenuptial contract is the one that's going to determine whether that marriage is with accruals or without accruals. So with accruals is when I say what is mine is mine and what is yours is yours. What was mine before the marriage is mine, and what was yours before the marriage is yours. But then what will accumulate together during the marriage, it will be for the both of us. We are jointly the owners of those things. It's with accrual. What I had, if now I have a house and you have a house, okay, and then we are in with accrual. That house that I had before we get married is mine. The car that you had before marriage is yours. But then if we buy another house during the marriage, that house or that car belongs to the both of us. That is marriage in community out of community of property with accruals. And the marriage out of community of property without accruals, it means everything that I have is mine. And then everything that we have is yours. Even during the marriage, the property that we are going to acquire during the marriage, everything that I acquire in my name, it's in my name. When we divorce, you take what's yours, I take what's mine. You understand? There's no sharing of anything whatsoever, unless if we have a house and we on that house we are both owners on the title deed. But other than that, there's nothing of sharing. Your pension is your pension, my pension is my pension, my house, my everything. Yours is yours, mine is mine. Actually, I don't know if you understand. Okay, and then we were dealing with marriage out of community of property. We were dealing with marriage out of community of property. Now we're going to deal with marriage in community of property, which is, I think it's one of the biggest mistakes that most Africans are dealing with, because they don't understand the aspect of marriage out of in community of property until it's too late. You understand? So, what's happening with marriage in community of property is that everything that I have is yours, and everything that you have is mine. If you have a suit, that suit we share it. It belongs to the both of us. Your pair of shoes it belongs to the both of us. Everything that we have, we share equally. It's 50-50 when we are in community of property. So in community of property, any marriage that you conclude, you enter in without antenuptial contract is regarded as marriage in community of property. If there is no antenuptial contract that excludes that marriage is automatically in community of property. If today I say I'm going to marry someone, we go to home affairs, we sign at home affairs, that marriage is in community of property. And then if another thing that has been going on lately, it's the marriage in community of property without a marriage certificate. Most people will say no, I don't want to get married in community of property, or actually I don't want to get married at all. I'll just lobola her and she stays with me. So what's happening with our law is that marriage is not just the wedding, the rings, the cakes, and the wedding dress and everything. Marriage is the consent that we have, both of you, both of us. If we consent that when you want to lobola me, the purpose of you loboling me is me being your wife, me bearing children, coming and staying with you. You understand? That automatically, I'm your wife and we are married in community of property. So what's happening now is that when people get married or when people lobola, let's say you meet me and then when in your mind you say no, I don't want to get married, married, because during divorce whatsoever she will take my car, she will take my house, my pension. I'm just going to pay lobola. If you come to my home, to my parents, and say I've seen your daughter and I want to lobola her like that, and they charge you 100 rand. They say no, it's fine for you to give, for us to give us our daughter. We are charging you 50 rand or 100 rand, and you say I only have 10 rand with me. You give them that 10 rand and say I will come back with the 90 rand later on to give you. That marriage is in community of property. um, Even if you don't come back later to finish that 90 rand that you are still owing my parents, even if you don't register that marriage at home affairs, mind you, marriage of customer marriage, we must register them at home affairs. But then if we do not register it, it does not render that marriage void. That marriage is still marriage and it's still valid without the registration, without me having the marriage certificate. That book that my delegate signs and your delegate signs during lobola negotiations, it amounts to a marriage certificate. I can use that in court to prove that indeed I was legally married with you and in community of property. That's it.
Before we proceed,
Yes.
what happens when a person stays with a woman, a man stays with a woman for maybe, let's say, 10 years, they have 4 kids, but he has never availed himself or sent someone to the family of his partner to say, I want to lobola this person, I want to pay money, marry this person. He has never, does it mean that he has never showed intention to stay with this person, even though they have children and they're staying together? What does the law say about that?
Well, to be honest, I'm not going to lie about that, because I heard recently that there is this according to me, I think that's just cohabitation, like me saying there is nothing
But
that's
their children,
that.
let's say three.
Yeah, I know they are children, but still, according to me, well, with the law, it develops daily. You understand? The law develops daily, and recently there was debate of what we are talking about. It's just that I was not into deep with that,
Oh,
and then I don't want to mislead the audience with that part. I just know that if you did not lobola me or we did not sign anything, we are not married. The requirements of a customary union is that we must be both of us must be above the age of 18. If we are not above the age of 18, it means there must be consent from our parents, our legal guardians, or our parents. They must consent. Hore, they are consenting for us to get married, and there must be an intention from the both of us. Or the intention must be for us to get married, and then after the intention, there must be negotiations of us wanting to get into marriage. That's why, for the example that I gave earlier, that if you come to my parents and they say they want 100 rand and you give them 10 rand, that's negotiations. That means we are negotiating something. We are concluding a contract. Actually, that agreement is that we are agreeing to pay the 100 rand, but now we have the 10 rand. So for if there was no intention for us to get married, there was no negotiations. That's not marriage in customary law. It's not marriage in community of property. We are just staying together.
Before proceeding, I
Yes.
saw, I don't know what I can say it's an article. I can say it's a marketing strategy from one of the law firms,
Okay.
my friend.
Yes.
So he wrote that it's advisable that you consult with a lawyer before you go and pay for Lobola, because either way you will need
Yes.
a lawyer.
Uh
So I just want to check the role
yes.
of the role of consultation.
Mm.
Is it necessary to consult with a lawyer before you go and pay Lobola so that you can understand the circumstances of that procedure, or what?
Well, I wouldn't say it's necessary. If you know what you are doing or you know the consequences of what you are going to do, you don't need to consult a lawyer because you already know. But if you do not know or you are unsure, it's very wise for you to consult a lawyer so that you can go there knowing fully, Huri, these are the consequences of this will be the end result of what I'm doing now. You understand? But then I wouldn't say it's necessary. If you don't, if you know, Huri, um, now I'm going to pay her lobola, and this means I'm marrying her in community of property. So it means you understand. It means in community of property is what you want. But if you are unsure, when you are just saying I'm paying a lobola for marriage, we'll see later. It's best to consult a lawyer so that you can get a proper advice before committing yourself into anything that will have consequences at the end of the day.
Uh, Here is a client.
Mm.
This client wants to get married.
Okay.
They come to you. They don't have a clue all these contracts,
Mhm.
the marriage regime that exists. What do you advise them, and how do you advise them?
Well, first of all, when we get approached by a client, our job is to outline what the law is or what the law says about this and about that, and then the client is the one who's going to give us instructions. Or okay, let's say I've already talked about two types of marriage regime name, and then the other one has two options inside it. We are going to outline everything to the client. For this is what's going to happen if this is happening, and this is what's going to happen, and this is what's going to happen, and the client will choose. Okay, so our duty is to advise clients. Ne? There's in community of property, there's out of community of property with accruals and without accruals, and we explain deeply what does it mean to be in community of property, what does it mean to be out of income of property with accruals and without accruals? What are the consequences of each marriage regime? And the client will choose.
Choose.
Yeah, the client will choose. Or okay, I think I might go this way, or I think I might go this way, or I want to go this way. But our client is just our duty is to advise the client. Yeah.
So thank you for answering that. When people get married, and when they make vows, they make or take vows. When
Yeah.
they speak their vows or say their vows,
Yeah.
the majority says at the end that until death
That
do us
was
apart.
yeah.
But mostly that is necessarily not the case.
Yes.
Sometimes
Yes.
people think
Yes.
that it is
Yes.
better that they separate.
Mm.
So can you take us through the process of
the,
divorce?
the process of
Because I hear
separation.
lawyers saying what irretrievable breakdown of marriage, things like that.
Yes,
Can you
yes,
explain
yes, yes.
the whole process to a layman? Like, you don't dwell too much in legal jargon, so that the potential clients can understand that if they are in this type of a situation, this is what the law says.
Well, every marriage is dissolved by a court order.
Okay.
It is dissolved by a court, actually.
Mm.
I cannot say, Mr. Chao, I think our marriage is not working, and then I think you must move out, or I move out. Even if I move out and you stay or you move out, after 20 years, 30 years, we are still married and
Oh
we are
yeah.
still legal married. So if I think it's best that we separate, our things no longer working, we must divorce. I must file for a divorce. When a person wants to file for a divorce, you can actually do it yourself. You can divorce yourself. If it's not complicated, you think it won't get opposed. There's no complications regarding the property or regarding the children. You can do it yourself. Or if there are you see already there will be complications. There's property involved, there's children involved. This person might oppose, and you don't have money for lawyers. You can go to legal aid, your nearest legal aid offices, where they help people who don't have money or they don't have enough money for lawyers to afford lawyers. But then at legal aid, there's a assessment test where you have to pass, because they don't usually just pick anyone. You
What
must pass the
before
assessment test.
before we hit? Actually, I think we're hitting around
Yeah.
the role of you in the attorneys
Okay.
in this process of divorce. What do you guys do?
Well, when a person, it depends. If a
Let's
person
take it from
approaches
here.
us, yeah.
The person is in your door.
Okay.
Actually, they're in your office.
Okay.
They're coming with all these problems.
Hmm.
You think this will lead to divorce or whatever, or maybe you see that there is a reason that is
For
valid
what?
for
For divorce.
divorce.
We will never think like that.
Okay, let's say
You
a
must
client.
come to our office
Yeah,
prepared and
actually,
ensure that you want to divorce. We will never tell
yeah,
you to get divorced.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I want. A client now is at the office,
Okay.
sharing the attorneys.
Yes.
They are coming to you.
Hmm.
They're saying to you, I've tried everything,
Yes.
and I think this thing is going to happen. I want to divorce.
Okay.
What is the process?
Well, the process is that that person must pay us money for consultation.
Okay.
We must consult first before we take instructions. So on the consultation is where we assess whether we assess the marriage regime. Were you in community of property? Were you out of community of property with accruals or without accruals? And we advise you that if when you were, let's say you were in community of property, we advise you that now we must issue summons. We take them to the sheriff, this and this and this and this. Ne? And if that person consent will know, I'm giving you guys instructions. Then we first draft summons. We take the summons to the court. With, the magistrate court, regional court has jurisdiction for a divorce, and the high court also has jurisdiction for divorce. So it depends on the complexity of the matter and the pockets of the clients. Yeah, but both courts have jurisdictions. So we draft the summons and the particulars of claim. We take them to court for issuing, where we get a case number. And then we take this issued summons with a case number from court to the sheriff, and the sheriff will serve the defendant personally. Unlike other cases where a sheriff can just leave the papers at your doorstep or leave the papers with someone else, with divorce, the sheriff must serve you personally. And then on those papers, it's stipulated that within this how many days you must, if you want to oppose or if you want to defend, you must defend within these days, and after defending, you must give us your plea within these days. Your plea is the reason for your defense. So I'm defending this because of this and this and this and this. So we after the sheriff has served you with the summons, the sheriff will come back with a return of service. We are going to wait until those. Let's say we have given you 10 days to defend. We are going to wait for that 10 working days for you to defend. And if you are not defending within that 10 working days, uh, it means the matter is undefended. We are going to court without you. You understand? We are just going to set the matter down. The matter is undefended. We're setting the matter down. And then the matter will be heard as an unopposed matter. Everything that you said you want, you stipulated in your particulars of claim. Maybe I want 50% of this patient fund. If that the specified period that's stipulated in the particulars of claim was extinguished and you haven't entered your notice, you haven't served us with your notice of intention to defend, it means we are going to court. The court is going to hear your matter on an unopposed basis. No? It means everything that you have, that me as the plaintiff has stipulated in the particulars of claim. I want 50% of your pension fund. I want to have the primary care and residence of the children. Maybe I want ownership if we have a house of RF number whatsoever. Yeah, each party pays its own debt whatsoever. Everything that I would have stipulated. It means that the court will give a final judgment based on that because the defendant has not entered, has not served or has not defended the matter. But then it's uncontested divorce or undefended divorce. It's very quick. It's less costly, and yeah, we just within 2 months, 2 months. It depends with the court date. But then yeah.
Is there an act or law that stipulates how much you must charge as per the case of divorce?
Yeah, actually, we are governed by the tariffs. It depends on which court we are using. If we are using High Court, we must work with the tariffs of the High Court. If we are using the Magistrate Court, we must work with the tariffs of the High Court. But then you, as our client, there's what we call a attorney and own client. Name. It means we can do away with the tariffs and charge you, me and you, we are now talking. How much are you willing to pay? How much do you have? And how much, like you understand, as our client.
So if, for example, a client comes,
Yes.
the client does not have money,
Okay.
but in the marriage there is property, there are businesses, are you able to help them before they pay you, or you have to check their property and things like that, then you deal with their matter thereafter, everything has been settled. Okay.
Well, there is what we call contingency fee. Contingency fee is the basis that I work, and then you are going to pay me after the finalization of the matter when you receive your fees. No win, no pain. But on family matters, there's no contingency fee. You have to pay me. If you don't have money, it means you have to go to legal aid, or but we must do something. So we cannot work on contingency fee with the hope that no, the defendant has money on his GPEF, and then after the finalization of divorce, you're
Lawyers
going
love,
to receive the
lawyer,
50%, and then you're going to give me my share. We don't work like that on family matters.
you guys always advise people to go into the pension fund or what? Because a lot of lawyers speak about that every time when they speak, they have to mention that
The pension part.
50%.
Well,
And then I want to ask, how do you
yes,
feel about that? I'm not sure if you have dealt with these cases.
yes.
How do you feel about a client who
Mhm.
comes to you and then their partner has that pension, maybe it's 2 million, 4 million,
Okay.
then they have to benefit before this guy? How does that feel as a lawyer? Or
Oh,
feelings aside, you deal with the matter.
who must benefit? Our client has to
Your
benefit
own,
from
yes.
50% of the.
Mm.
No, it's also her share. Remember, in community of property, we share everything. In community of property, we share everything. So you are claiming what's duly yours, what's rightfully, it's rightfully yours. You understand? It's rightfully yours. So if a client says my husband has a pension fund or is a member of this provident fund, and I want 50% of it, we just we just work with instructions. Our job is to work with instruction. And if that person says my client has my husband or my wife has pension fund, but I don't want it, we are not going to claim it. And we're not going to advise the client. We are not going to force the client to say no, you must claim it because it's rightfully yours, or you have right against it, or whatever. We work with clients' instructions. Yeah. Our job is to work with clients' instructions. That's it. Period.
How has it been practicing as a lawyer, as a woman in this department?
Well,
How is the environment for, I mean,
for ladies,
for
for
women? Yes.
women, I think the environment it's quietly the same as for men. There's majority of ladies in the field now. Women are getting educated. They are magistrates. They are judges. They are advocates. They are attorneys. They are conveyancers, notaries. Everywhere, women have occupied the space. So it's comfortable. Like the male gender, I see them as They are my colleagues, they are my
Equal.
friends, but yeah, there's no that of intimidation or no, my opponent today is a man or the magistrate today it's a man. No, it's all the same to
Makes
me.
it makes sense. I think it will inspire a lot of young ladies who want to
Yeah,
study law,
we
so that
must
they,
occupy the
yeah.
spaces. It's our time to shine.
But before we stop
Yes.
speaking about this topic, I want us to speak about your background or the
Okay.
background of the company and your role, because Mr. Shirinda mentioned that you are a partner,
Yes.
and you did not mention, just introduce yourself, and then you did not introduce yourself as a partner to this company.
Okay.
And I want you to speak to young ladies, especially black ladies from the village, who one day want to I mean, be part of a law firm, be a partner, or to start their own law firm, so that they can be inspired and believe that it's possible. How easy has it been? How difficult has it been? How easy it is? And things like that. What is it that inspired you? What can you tell a girl child?
Well, to be honest, I think if you believe that, well, with me, I will say, let me not lie. Ne? I did law because I was doing metal trace in high school. So when I was doing metal tracing, and then now I have to see which career can I go for, a career that at least maybe I will have money. Well, I said I will, yeah. So I thought law is much better. I went to university. I didn't know the constitutional court, the
Yeah.
what it was all like. Yeah, I've learned all those words in university, but along the way, I learned to love it. I
Mm.
learned to develop the interest for it, and then yeah, you just have to get your LLB. It's 3 years. It's 4 years, and then serve your articles, write your board exams, get admitted, be enrolled as admitted attorney, and then boom, you open your own law firm. Even if you have 5,000 in your pocket, anything that you have. Actually, you just have to have the guts to go for it and
Mm.
go for it. You will see you will test the waters for
Mm.
yourself. Because my experience is, I cannot say because I went through this, you will also go through
Yeah.
this, or because it has been easy for me, it will also be easy for you, or because it was hard for me, it will also be hard. Just go for it. If you believe that, yeah, I can do it, just do it.
How do people reach during the artists?
Well, our offices are based in Johannesburg Central. It's Elephant House, 107 Albertina Susulu Street, our office number 310. Alternatively, they can contact us via WhatsApp or phone call on 073 55113 or 060 or email us at nashirinda@gmail.com.
Thank you. Thanks for this opportunity. And I believe that people are going to make comments, and
Yes.
I know and I'm sure that we're still going to continue
Yes, because there's so
talking about.
much that we haven't touched. Actually, that's why law we do it 4 years and we
Mm,
have to serve articles for 2 years and then
mm,
we have to write board exams.
mm,
It's because it's so broad. I cannot explain the whole of divorce or the
mm,
whole of marriage
mm.
regime on 20 minutes or
Yeah, yeah,
30 minutes.
yeah.
It's so broad. So yeah, because in everything now, when I say about divorce, on divorce, there's also forfeiture of benefits. There's also whatsoever. So it's actually broad. So I think for now we just have to cut here and then we'll continue later.
Thank you.
Yes.